Welcome to Supplier Spot Spotlight, the podcast where we shine a light on the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Join us as we chat with suppliers, park owners, and staff, uncovering insights, strategies, and stories that will elevate your outdoor experience. Get ready for inspiration and innovation in every episode.
Hey everybody, Bobby Sorden here again with Supplier Spotlight Podcast. I'm here with Mike Harrison with CRR Hospitality. Hey Mike, thanks for being on the podcast with me today. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Bobby. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great. So, as I told you before we were coming on camera here that, I started Supplier Spot. I know you know my background and history about who I used to work for. And, when they laid me off in December, I was like, I really want to stay in this industry. And how can I build something that I think all the suppliers would like to use, and especially the RV park and campground owners and staff would use. So I came up with Supplier Spot, and a lot of it I came up with the name because I really like, the guys at Spot Tonight. That's kind of a popular name right now. And of course, Camp Spot, Camp Spot. Everything's about a spot when it comes to camping. And so I really like the spot. And if you notice my logo there, it's actually the spot that you get on a map, but also has a little search icon in the middle there. So I thought it was kind of a little clever idea to come up with my logo. But I came up with Supplier Spot just because I wanted to make it a place where people could find each other. Campground owners could, find suppliers that they're looking for, whether it be property management, such as your company, or if they're looking for electrical pedestals, they can search quickly. And more importantly, suppliers could actually sell items on the site as well. So, and even park owners could sell items. That's kind of the point, is making it just like a global marketplace for parks. So with that being said, I'd love to get your thoughts about it and what you think about Supplier Spot, and, when did you first hear about it, and kind of run with that. And first of all, of course, introduce yourself even more if you need to.
My pleasure. My name is Mike Harrison. I am the Chief Operating Officer of CRR Hospitality. I first heard of Supplier Spot from this guy named Bobby Sorden. I'm not sure if you know him.
Just drilling emails, right?
Obviously, when you were first coming up with the concept, and then I really, came to market when I saw it in Woodall's, which I think was great exposure for you, and then obviously at some of the conferences. But what do I think about Supplier Spot? As you and I have talked about in the past, I really think this, if we go backwards, CRR's vision is evolving the industry for the modern world, and I feel like every day that passes, another day helps that we move and progress the industry forward. And I think this is something that's sorely needed. I came from the hospitality industry, and there was, aggregation, a collection, various different distribution sites where, hotel operators could go and find, supplies, different kinds of providers. And right now it's very disjointed, right? It's a lot of referral based. Hey, do you know of anybody who does X? Or, hey, where'd you find X? Facebook posts. And I think this will help modernize the industry to at least provide one central, as you mentioned, marketplace where people can look and one-stop shop, easy place to find things. So I think it's a niche. I think it's a need in the industry, and I think you're starting out before others to be able to provide that for property managers, owners, vendors, and all the different participants.
Yeah, thanks for that feedback. As we were talking there too, it is a work in progress. I'm building it out, I'm getting it going, and, I only launched it March 5th. So, and I'm doing this all by myself. So a lot of it's hard work. So as a work in progress, of course, you've already given me some great feedback before we started. So anybody else out there that's watching, if you have any other feedback about it, I'm all for constructive criticism. Let me know the things you're experiencing, because I look at it daily, if not minutely. That to me, I'm not seeing what other people might see. And you already gave me some great feedback about that earlier before we jumped on this call. So I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Looking at it minutely. I like that.
Minutely.
And, I encourage, for those that are watching, Brian is really honest in his request. And for those that have started a business or, don't have a lot of resources, how hard it is to be able to build it. And I think, Bobby doesn't want to do it in a vacuum. He welcomes and would hope for other feedback, because it's for you. It's for the customer, the vendor, the partner, the buyer, the supplier, the operator. So, what do you need? I'm not trying to sell his business for him. I'm just providing that opportunity as I think most of us are helpful in this industry, and I think this is a good opportunity to provide that as well.
I always appreciate that. I know you did say Brian at the beginning there, because we were talking about a Brian before we jumped on, but I know
Did I say Brian?
I think so. Yeah.
I even said it Bobby Sorden. I don't think I said.
No, I mean, like right here at the start of this sentence.
Did
but
I
we were
really?
talking about Brian earlier, so I totally.
Oh my gosh! I even said it was Bobby Sorden. My goodness. My apologies, Billy.
Yeah, right, Billy. Okay, no problem, Mike. say, oh, I know it's Mike. Yeah, no, that's the great thing about these podcasts. I just love just having fun with them and just chit chatting
Absolutely.
and talking about it. And as I mentioned, we were talking about it, Brian, earlier before we come on, and I'm so glad that you put your name in there because I always got to glance down and make sure I'm saying the right name. Like I was podcasting with somebody yesterday, and I had to make sure I was saying the right name because we talk to a lot of people all day long, so
Like your name is right there, and I clearly got it wrong. I didn't even realize I said Brian.
it's okay. No. So yeah, with that being said, again, I do appreciate you giving me some, feedback there and telling other people, yeah, give me as much feedback as possible because I want this site to work. Even though I want it to be, something that can help me monetize, make a little bit of money off of. More important to me is a site that'll actually work and people like you will want to use it. The park owners, staff members, anybody will want to use it because to me it's just more beneficial if people have something to go to that they can use. So, I always think back to the story about how Amazon got started, and how he started so small and now look at it, it like rules the world almost. So I'm not saying Spirepot would ever do that, but who knows? So
We can help.
yeah, exactly right. With that being said, though, let's talk a little bit about CRR. So does CRR stand for something?
Um, Originally it stood for Contemporary Resorts and Residences. We had started off, we're owners at heart. That's how the company was formed. We own a lot of different verticals, commercial, residential, multifamily. We have a five-star hotel, an apple orchard, various different businesses. And we got into the outdoor hospitality space back in 2016 and had identified that, the RV world and the MH world had a niche that we could, fill, which we thought there was an opportunity to provide more of a upscale hospitality-based experience in both the manufactured home neighborhood world as well as the RV world. So our properties are, really going to be larger than most, and they're going to provide more upscale and hospitality experiences than most. So it started out as Contemporary Resorts and Residences because we were going to focus on just the resorts and just the neighborhoods.
Okay.
Over the last few years, we've pivoted and added a couple storage businesses and some car washes, and we just didn't feel. First of all, it's very hard to say when you're, hi, my name is Mike Harrison from Contemporary Resorts and Residences. I'm sorry, can you spell that?
Yeah, right.
And so, plus, as we evolved our own brand, we felt CRR Hospitality was much more indicative, kind of who we are and what we did. We created CRR Hospitality to manage on behalf of ourselves. So that's how we started. We needed an operating company that thought could be sophisticated from a metrics and analytics, a reporting, efficiency, standpoint. But we also wanted a management company that could really deliver on the hospitality aspect that we were focused on, experiential hospitality. We, found that there was an opportunity for that, so we decided to create it. And so CRR Hospitality was born out of the need to manage our own properties. Thank you for scrolling. We've had great success. We've won Property of the Year for the country, Neighborhood of the Year for the country, number 6 in USA's Today's 10 Best. It's been a great run. And then last year, we decided, we were getting some great feedback, and other folks were saying, "Hey, you should do this for others. Can you offer what you do for other properties?" So we said it's a great idea, and we pivoted to offering third-party management services for other owners other than just ourselves.
Okay.
So that's what we've been doing the last 6, 7, 8 months is peddling our third-party services. Just like you, we're a startup, so to speak, and working on developing the business model and our clientele. But we do. I like to call it kind of 3 phases. If you have a piece of dirt and you want to get it to open and running, we can do that. The only thing we really don't do is land sourcing. But phase 1, if you need a feasibility study to assess the viability of your project, maybe you need it for the bank, or maybe you need to make sure that you're not spending 3, 4, 500 grand in A&E fees and design fees only to realize that you're on wetlands, or
Yeah.
you can't get water. Feasibility study will always help you determine what kind of site type, what mix, what rate, what occupancy. That's usually phase 1. Phase 2 is kind of pre-development. If you're building from the ground up, we can obviously help with design and architecture and planning and operational efficiencies and amenity set. To make sure that the park is the right park and getting it to get ready to open. And then really where our hallmark is the management. Once you open, or actually 6 to 8 months before you open, marketing the park, selling the park, operating the park, building renown, driving revenue, and obviously building your NOI.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we focus on.
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I see you got some parks here. I know, both. I don't know how many of the viewers out there know that both you and I are on the Arizona Association Board of Directors, so we talk often throughout the month. But yeah, I always hear you talking about your resorts here, and of course, I will get out to one of them one of these days. But I know you talk a lot about Coachella there, and I think that's probably one of your really premier type resorts, right?
Yeah, Coachella is really at the top end. It's built on a expired golf course, if you will.
Yeah,
So it's right in the Coachella Valley, which everybody is known as famous for the concerts, and so it's nestled between the two mountain ranges.
yeah,
So it's has five lakes from the golf course, and so the premier spot is overlooking the lake, sun sparkling off the water, one mountain range on one side, the other mountain range on the other side. It's just spectacular. And
wow.
then as you can see there in the picture, we had a PGA professional actually design an 18-hole putting course for us.
Oh,
So it's not mini golf, right? It's not putt putt. It's there's undulation and green. There's a par three, putting hole. It's pretty extensive. It's a couple thousand yards, of a putting green, a putting course, excuse me. And so the property is just spectacular. Very, very nice and just indicative of that kind of experiential hospitality that that we want to offer.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think I really like about when every time I talk to you, I learn more about what you guys are doing and more about this industry. So I'm so glad to be involved with all this stuff and being on boards with you and all the others out there and learn about this stuff because I just think it makes us so much better. And I learned so much with my previous employer about how keeping people like you and other suppliers as friends as opposed to competitors, so to speak. I know I wasn't one of your
100%.
competitors, but I mean, when I was working for the other company, a lot of my competitors I'm good friends with now. So when I go out to these trade shows and associations, we're always chit chatting, having a good time. So
Yeah, we
yeah,
approach it the same way. I believe rising tide raises all ships. I am committed and passionate about the outdoor hospitality industry becoming, even more prevalent
hmm,
and, becoming in line with the hospitality industry. But the only way we do that is we do it together.
yep,
So we can certainly be competitors, but, we don't have to give up, proprietary differentiators. But, how can we, increase and enhance the industry profile while still running and being successful at our own businesses and sharing information and best practices is certainly a way to do that. I was on last year at the OHCE. I was on an innovator panel through New Book.
hmm,
And that was a great example of many different companies. Some in the same industry, property management, PMS systems. But it was a great opportunity for the industry to kind of hear from very different sources about the various things that the hospitality industry can do. So
yep.
I agree. Partnering and moving it forward is the success path.
Yeah, that's how it is with me too. I'm friends with everybody. I try to be friends with everybody out there. So, that's the whole goal. And that's why I figured Supplier Spot would be a good way to meet everybody and, get everybody connected in a much more easier way, I guess, so to speak. So, but yeah, I mean, this looks great. Your site looks great, of course. Got all these great awards on here. I've kind of been scrolling as you were talking so people can view what you've been doing. So, yeah, this
Thank
is
you.
awesome stuff. As I mentioned when it came to Supplier Spot, I wanted to make it simple for people to find you. So you can simply come up here to the top and type in property management if that's what an owner or a staff member was looking for. And everybody that has the word property or management in their name or title or service description or something is going to pop up. Right here, CRR. So the way you guys have yours set up is you got it here with just a little bit of information and the types of members of association you guys are and what types of amenities and stuff you have and ones you might not do or the types of services. And then what I really like is how you guys put all your pictures up here. I know this is the image that usually you have displayed behind you when we're on our calls for the board. And I know you were telling me earlier you got a lot of construction going on. So like you're in your office right now and everything's disarrayed. So you weren't able to do the virtual background. But I know I see this picture all the time, which is such an awesome picture. Where was that one taken?
Now, this one's actually a Verde Rancho RV resort. There's about 30 glamping units there of park model cabins. There's these Conestoga covered wagons. There's luxury tents, and yeah, I'm embarrassed. Normally, I have a virtual. I rotate my picture.
Yeah.
There's a mountain bike picture. There's a clubhouse picture. There's the glamping picture. And the one day that I can't figure out the virtual, for my background, my home office is under construction.
Yeah.
So
I'm in
not
the
very
same boat as
representative
you, and usually I
of
gotta like
how
close doors and move stuff off
uh,
my counters and
uh,
stuff back
I
here,
mean,
But then
I
again,
just noticed, look at the spot of dust on the table over there. I was like, it's not very,
but like I
not
told
very.
you before we got on, these are casual. I just want to make them fun, but so it does nothing to do with what you're doing. But yeah, I love all the pictures you guys put on here. And of course, if your viewers out there, if you just jump onto supplierspot.com, you can type in CRR, you can type in property management or anything you need to, and just send them a message. And whenever you send them a message, it will ask you to sign up. That's way it keeps all the messaging and stuff secure. So that way, you can have your messages. You won't ever get exchange emails and things like that. And that's kind of the way I have it set up right now. It's just the messaging through the platform. Plus, it just kind of helps me track too all the messages. I don't see the messages, but I can track whenever things are getting clicked on. So that way I can show people like you, Mike, hey, it looks like there was 100 people that reached out to you in the month of May or something like that. So
which I think is important, right, to validate the listing, so to speak, to kind of say, hey, here's the traffic count, and everybody, especially if you're data driven, wants to know, hey, what are the stats, what's the traffic, what's the volume, and so I think that's a very important feature as well.
Yeah, and as you know, I have my own consulting business as well, so I do marketing, SEO, digital ads, Google ads, anything that needs to be done with marketing and business. That's what my consulting business does, swordandconsulting.com, and that's important. And
all right, what was that website?
What's that?
What was that website?
swordandconsulting.com.
You didn't say that minutely. You said it too quickly.
I said it too fast. That's a problem too, is I speak too fast. I got to remember I got to slow down and enunciate my words.
You got to make sure people hear it, right? swordandconsulting.com.
Yeah.
Right.
And, with that, I do a lot of, I have some clients where I work, with them one-on-one about my suggestions and my ideas and stuff. But that's one of the things I remember hearing in one of the courses I was taking was you can't spell marketing without DATA. And I was like, oh, that will always stick to me. So data is a big part of marketing where we got to track all that stuff. And I always follow the Google Analytics.
DA, yeah.
Can't spell marketing without a DATA. So no matter how it's spelled, you need data in there somewhere. So it's just kind of something that stuck with me. But so I love the fact that you guys are on here, and I met you at a few shows. We were at the glamping show last year next to each other, and I'll be there again this year. I think you guys are going to be there as well, and I saw you out in Florida, so that was awesome.
Yeah, the next one is the Arizona convention. I'm not sure, is it called the Arizona RV Convention? I'm not even sure right now.
I think so, yeah. And I actually have a link on here on Supplier Spot called Conferences and Trade Shows. So if you jump down here, it shows Arizona. So Arizona Association, I think they go with the manufactured housing. They partner with them. It's actually a really cool show, as you know, and I know. But to the viewers out there, if you're a big golfer, you can come in the day before and play the golf tournament they have, which is a lot of fun. I actually did that last year when I was there. So unfortunately, and I know you know this, Mike, I won't be there this year because we booked anniversary Hawaii getaway, so and I can't move the date. So we booked that before I knew about the Arizona one coming up this year. So, but I will definitely be at the one next year. But yeah, if you go here, you can just click on it and it'll bring up some more info about the place. So, and you said you guys will be there, right? CRR?
Yeah, we have a booth. We're also attending as attendees because we have numerous properties, obviously, in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And then I have 2 sessions that I'm presenting at as a guest speaker. So we'll be all over the show for the couple days. That it's in town here. Arizona's kind of our.
I'm really bummed about missing it. I looked to change our dates and everything, but nothing was available. And
good luck if you want to stay married. You probably need to go see the waterfall in Kauai.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that was great. I know you were in Florida a couple of weeks ago, and I saw you there and actually popped into your session, which was really entertaining and very informative. So for the viewers out there, definitely go. If you can get to this Arizona show, they do it here at the Hilton Phoenix Tapatio Cliffs Resort. So really nice location. But yeah, so it'd be cool for people to see you there.
Absolutely.
Anything else you wanted to wrap up with, or anything else you wanted to talk about with CRR? Because that's really what I wanted to go with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity, and obviously good luck with the site and the business as you build it, and we'll continue to help advocate for you. So
I appreciate that, Mike. And of course, like I said at the beginning of all this, any feedback, constructive criticism, I'm all for. My goal is just to build this so people want to use it. So and go from there. And like I told you earlier, I'm doing this by myself, so any feedback I can get from people is helpful. So
my pleasure.
Cool. Well, thanks, Mike. Again, appreciate it. Once again, that was Mike Harrison with CRR Hospitality Management. So I'm Bobby Sorden with Supplier Spot. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Supplier Spot Spotlight. Keep shining bright in the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Stay tuned for more illuminating conversations with industry experts. Until next time, enjoy the great outdoors.